Hi folks, Diner Bob here with episode 3 of Barrett Paleopark, our challenge build for Prehistoric Kingdom. And today we're putting in the third of our 3 starter animals, Ursus Spelaeus, or the cave bear. The first look is at where the park was before I started building for this episode. And you can see I've done a few things. I've added a small gift shop from the pre-builds because the guests were complaining about not having enough shopping. Um, that had a consequence which showed up a little bit later in this episode, but we'll get to that. Um, so right now we're going to take a look at the Peltophyllus exhibit, which is across from where we'll be building, as you can see with the empty space, because I screwed up and didn't finish it last time. The heat lamp I used was set to the ceiling of the basic uh, walls for the habitat, and that doesn't work out in this design. So I needed to make a more low-hanging heat lamp and give it something to hang from. Hence this little bar coming out of the rock. The idea is that this is supposed to be well-detailed faux rock that we're looking at. So we're jumping right into, or I should say past a few false starts. You can see some building material there in an oval shape. That's where the viewing will be. And you also see some over by the T-Rex Cafe, and that's to establish a solid line for the terraforming there. So I'll be able to run fence along that cleanly and not struggle too much with slopes on the habitat because there's a fair bit of slope in this one. Um, I'm getting pretty close to the base terraforming, and it's time to start laying out the fencing. What you'll see me doing right here is a run from where the care building will be to one half of the habitat. The idea being that nominally the habitats are set up as male and female habitat, with the male would be only getting access during breeding season. But functionally, that's not how the habitat's going to work for a couple of reasons. One is these bears are omnivores, and they want all the foods. So it's really hard to fit in a lot of feeders in half of this space, which is what 2 bears need. It's not that easy to fit it in all of it. Yeah, more about that later. So I borrowed that run of concrete along the T-Rex to set up the floor for the building. One, to lay it out and make sure it's all flat, and some of it will be going away. I have to take fence away because I want to set up the fence that will be the interaction point for keepers and the bears inside the building. The bears themselves will have substrate. It's kinder on them. I decided to drop the roof so it is a gradual slope, a little bit like the Psittacosaurus habitat, for blending into the background on this habitat. So there's the building laid out, and now the bear's floor is going away, and that leaves me space to put the proper fence in there. And I realized I didn't have a suitable one for them, which meant it was research time, and I had to get the research going on the fence I wanted. So it was time to make assignments and get the staff onto that. I've been doing research in the background with these guys, catching up on various things and pressing forward a little bit because the money's been rolling in a reasonably comfortable manner. I'm just not showing you every single thing. So the fence has been readjusted now, and I found I hit a slope problem closing it off. So putting in these rocks means that the animals themselves won't be able to cross out here in the habitat even though the game perceives the whole thing as a single habitat. So the male would not have access to the female until I later put in a door that they could go through. So there's the back wall hiding the run in the background. And I also want to screen that a little bit from the T-Rex Cafe. And I wanted to have a simple wall that the guests can't see much of right there, but clearly smooth enough for our bears to not climb it. So you're not going to see all the rocks going in, and honestly, you're not really going to see a lot of the build because I accidentally didn't get it recorded. So the fence research is finished, which means I can put in the final fence there, and I'll use that fence also in the back of the habitat, which makes it easier to click on when I need information about the habitat or I need to do something about it, rather than trying to hunt for the habitat markers under rocks. So that's the initial rough out, and you get to see a fair bit of spinning around while I check it out and decide whether I've got what I would like to have going there. So boom, mostly done. The roof is on the habitat, the care building. There's plants all over the habitat. I've already messed with readjusting some of the brushwork. We actually have our animals in, and now I'm selecting walls that I want to recolor because that I didn't want the raw cinder block as what the guests see. I wanted to color it to make it a little less glaring and more to fade into the background. I do have either pans or enrichment feeders for all the foods that the animals want, and you can see notifications on the building wall there, that those notifications are that they're empty. The keepers are not filling them. It turns out the reason is I forgot to import those kinds of foods into the warehouse. Sort of jumped the gun. I did use 2 of the cave bear wooden sculptures, which required research into another theme to get them. But I did want to have this sort of paired bear at the gate there. There's one of our bears right now. That would be the female because we're on the female side of it. And you can see there are gates inside the care building. So our keepers have multiple points of access for this habitat, which is a great feature for this game. You're not limited to just one. So doing some touch-up terrain painting, getting rid of plants in buildings, because those are not things, in preparation to putting in hay beds and a birthing bed for the female side of the habitat. And then hunting down to get the right ones for that. So, what else? I tend to feel that the game doesn't ask for enough space for the bears. Bears like a lot of space. They need a lot of enrichment to keep them from going psychotic in captivity, which is partly why I use enrichment feeders out in the public habitat. But also they're smaller, so they fit in this smaller space. I wanted to have enough beds in the female side of the habitat so that if and when there are cubs, they will have a place to sleep. I'm going to put the birthing bed right near it. These days, animals will slowly foul things like their hay beds and their drinking water and their feeders. So that's something your keepers have to be attentive to. Here's one of our bears using the chute. This is before I let them get together, so that would be the male and the female. So they are confined to their portions of the habitat right now, despite the fact that the game reads the 2 as combined, and therefore they have enough space. So finishing off with some foliage near the habitat in biomes that the bears like, and a little bit for the more general. This is where the park is situated, foliage next to the T-Rex Cafe, as sort of a transitional kind of thing. You can see the gate there. The keepers get, and other staff get to move along by the cafe and come out at that gate. So I was checking things on whether I was happy with the final viewing area, and I wasn't. So I put in these curved walls in the back to sort of blend it in, and so there was less glass looking at rock. And there it is. So we will have a little bit of a walkthrough from the point of view thing. This is where I was setting up to finally get what the animals need for their food into the park. You probably, if you're eagle eyes, notice I'm out of merch, which I haven't figured out yet. And I have no medicine in the park. So that's something that will be, that last one anyway, important in the next episode. So hope you'll be back for that. And having placed the order, that stuff will be coming in, and we're getting toward forgetting what I recorded and what I didn't. Yeah, now with 3 full animals in, it was time to up the keeper staff, and I thought my staff were having a problem, so I wanted to add some more cashiers so that people could take breaks, but it really was the merch problem, which I will be getting settled before the next video. So there's the entrance to the viewing area with its information screen in the style for Barrett Park. You see the climbing device I did there from vivariums. I was hoping the young bears would climb on it. I never caught them doing it. So that's something that may go away, or may have to build something that the adult bears will play with. I have to think about that. If you have a thought on that, let me know in the comments. So we're coming up toward the end of today's episode, and that will be the where we got to for today. And if you've enjoyed the episode, you know the drill, guys. Drop a like, make a comment. I'm always happy to hear from viewers. Ask a question. Maybe I'll have an answer for you about how the game is working. In any case, that's pretty much it for today's episode. You can see I have been doing some foliage work in between episodes just to flesh things out. And I think the park's looking pretty good. So till next time, be kind to each other out there. Take care, and I hope to see you in another episode soon. Bye now.